Hey guys, so a bit of a different weekly vlog this week. I am still not feeling great. Today I'm actually feeling the best that I've felt since I came down with this like little winter cold. But this whole week I wasn't feeling good, and I did pick up the camera a few times earlier this week, but could barely keep my thoughts together. That coupled with, I had some like updates for you guys. So I have a TTC update for you, and then a toddler transition to his own bed sleep update. So I'll start with the TTC update, and then I'll talk about Hugo and why this transition has been such a struggle. And please, if you have any advice, I am like welcoming it with open arms. Also apologies for like how messy my house is right now. But okay, let's talk about the TTC update. This weekly vlog is just going to be like a sit down video, essentially. Just like super relaxed, right? So the TTC update, I wanted to let you guys know why we definitely will not be pregnant this month. And that is for two different reasons. The first reason is that if I get pregnant this month, my due date is like literally the day of my best friend's wedding, and I am the maid of honor in her wedding, so that is just a no-go. And I was like kind of disappointed when I figured that whole thing out. I'm glad I figured it out ahead of time and realized that that was like that would be the case, because I can't, like, that would have just been nuts. And I'm sure maybe we could have worked around her wedding. I who knows, but as the maid of honor, I'm taking my responsibilities in her wedding very seriously, and she's my best friend and probably like my last friend to get married, and this is like the first wedding that I've ever been a maid of honor in, and so I definitely didn't want to jeopardize any of that. So we're giving it a miss this month. And then the second reason is because my ovulation this month has been so bananas, like so bananas. So I'm making a whole video, a separate video on these digital ovulation tests that I've tried out and been using, and I really like them. But it's so interesting because, so I got my period on December 31st, and normally that would mean like I would have my high ovulation day on either like January 10th or January 11th. But I actually had peak ovulation yesterday. And like, what is the date even? Today's the 10th. So yesterday would have been the 9th. So I guess that's normal. I don't know. It just seemed really, really early to me. I think because I got my period December 31st. And I had peak ovulation yesterday, which was cycle day 10, which still seems really early because my cycle is normally, like, my last cycle is 24 days, which is like the shortest it's ever been. Normally my cycle is like 26 to 28 days. So I feel like that's kind of early, but who knows, right? Like there's no guidebook. There's no like steadfast rule that says like you ovulate in the middle of your cycle, which is like what I've thought, and what my Ovia app had been predicting. So I'm glad I started taking those digital tests, because I would have had no idea that yesterday, because like my Ovia app was predicting that my peak day was Saturday, so like 2 days from now, but really my peak day was yesterday. But if I had not taken those digital tests, I wouldn't have known that my peak day was yesterday. Does that make sense? So anyway, totally like that just went straight over my head. Crazy. So there's that. And then the sleep update. I'm sorry, I look like awful. Oh my gosh, I went back to teaching last night too. Okay, let me talk about that really fast because it'll be a short update. So I went back to teaching last night and it went really well. My foot was definitely feeling a little bit tired by the end, and I was really careful. Like I tried to, like, there were a few times where I had to use my feet, like going on releve and like demonstrating stuff, but I tried to be really, really careful. It was really nice to see the kids and be back at the studio. It was a lot of fun. So here's to hoping the rest of the school year, I mean, I'm only teaching till May, so like here's to hoping the next 5 months go well and there's like nothing, no crazy things to report. Okay, so let's talk about Hugo's sleep, which has been just the biggest headache. So we decided that once my husband's parents left after Christmas break, that we would transition Hugo back into his own bed for various reasons, like the biggest reasons being, one, our queen size bed in our master bedroom is just like feeling a little too tight with him in it, and he's starting like that toddler horizontal sleeping, so like his feet are in our face and like he's just all over the place. We also just felt like developmentally he was ready for it, I say. And then also I was thinking ahead to like when I get pregnant. I am, I'm a short girl, but my last pregnancy I got huge, and I just know that I'll be more comfortable and I'll feel better knowing that like he's in his own bed, we'll have more room, I don't have to be worried about like him kicking my belly or anything. So we were like, okay, once my husband's parents leave, we'll transition him into his own bed. So that time came, and I mentioned this in the last 2 vlogs, before they left that week of Christmas, it was like a darn Christmas miracle. Hugo started sleeping in until like 6:30, 7. One morning he slept until 8. Like unreal, unheard of. He has never ever done that before. And we were all like, maybe he's sick, or maybe he's going through a growth spurt, or like, I don't care what the reason was. The reason, like, he wasn't sick, but like, great, he's sleeping in late. Then his parents left, and he was still like, that night that his parents left, Hugo did sleep in our bed. And he slept in until like 6:15. And so that night we were like, all right, let's transition him into his own bed. And I think now it's sort of become a little bit of a habit, because he started waking up in the middle of the night. And if he were to wake up in the middle of the night in our bed, obviously he would like feel me and my husband near him and then just go right back to sleep. Like, he hadn't woken up in the middle of the night since he had started sleeping through the night at like 8 months old. So when we transitioned him to his own bed and he woke up in the middle of the night and we weren't there, you can guess. So he wakes up, and this is still occurring now. He wakes up and he either starts crying or he stands up, walks out of his bedroom and comes into our room. And then we walk him back to his room. And that's been going on now for the past, now he's been in his room for maybe a week, maybe. And I'm just like nervous that now it's becoming a bit of a habit for him to like, any sort of startle that wakes him up in the middle of the night, and he just like is automatically awake and automatically like gets out of his bed. And if he were in a crib or like a more contained bed, then I would just let him try to fall back to sleep on his own. But we don't have a crib for him because he didn't sleep in a crib when he was little. And so he's in a twin bed with a guardrail, but the guardrail doesn't prevent him from exiting his bed. And then I don't want to, I guess I could put a baby gate up outside of his door, but I feel like I'm usually awake before then. Like, I can hear him wrestling in bed, I can hear him waking up, and so I'm usually to his room already before he's even exited his room. So Jeff and I have been taking turns getting up in the middle of the night and putting him back to bed, and it's been brutal. It's very much so felt like, and I'm sort of like, I'm trying to look at the positive side of things. I'm trying to think like, okay, when we have another baby, like, I better get myself used to waking up in the middle of the night now. But what concerns me is that like, he's just not getting as good a night's sleep as he was before, and that I don't want him to get into the habit now for like months and months and months of not feeling like he can't just sleep through the night, and feeling like every time he wakes up, sorry, I look like such a ghost. I'm like so distracted by how pale I look. I think it's just the lighting. I just don't want him to wake himself up a million times in the middle of the night and not get like a restful night's sleep, because for almost a year he's been, not a year, well, yeah, a year. For over a year now, he's been getting like pretty restful night sleeps. So we're stuck at like a hard place, because I'm the type of person who's like, I just want to throw the towel in and like, let's bring him back into our bed. Like, who cares? Like, as long as he's getting a good night's sleep, I'm like, I don't care. Like, if I'm having a bad night's sleep, I'll go in his room. But I know that we're gonna probably come up against these issues, and I do want him to be in his own room, and I do want him to be in his own bed. And we've like made it this far. This is like all the same issues I was having when we were sleep training him, which is kind of comical. But yeah, if you guys have any tips or tidbits about toddler sleep and like how you would go about dealing with that, let me know down in the comments. Or if you've if you've sort of encountered the same thing with your toddler and transitioning them from like sleeping in your bed to sleeping in their own bed. And so yeah, that's sort of where we've been at. And so this whole week, not only like I've been trying to get over feeling sick, but then on top of that, the nights that I've been getting up with Hugo, I've just felt like so tired in the morning, like so tired. So yeah, that was the week, and that's why it was so hard for me to weekly vlog, was because my brain just felt so discombobulated and like almost like beyond fuzzy. Like it was just like not, it was exactly how I felt when I was breastfeeding and he wasn't like, and he was up every two hours. That feeling of like, okay, like I really can't do anything today other than just like survive and just like be awake or be asleep. That's it. And that's sort of also why my house is a bit of a disaster, a bit of a mess. Jeff is going for a work trip this weekend, which I'm kind of sad about. I mean, like we just like got right back into this week, and I think also it was a tough week because it came off the heels of the holidays and there's that like post-holiday slump, and Jeff was back at work, and I knew that this weekend he had a work trip, and then all of a sudden like it's next week already, you know? And so I really cherish our time together, especially during the weekends. It's so incredibly helpful. And so I'm just kind of gearing up too for this weekend, and how like I'll have help from my mom and stuff, which is lovely, but just kind of figuring out how I'm going to navigate this weekend and keep Hugo busy and go food shopping and like do all the normal house things. Without the assistance of Jeff. So anyway, that is the update for this week. I'm gonna end this weekly vlog here. Again, I'm sorry this wasn't like a traditional weekly vlog, but I hope you enjoyed my TTC update and what else? Oh right, the sleeping update and my foot, and like that's everything. You guys are totally caught up, and I will see you guys next week. Love you guys.